Hello viewers, a very warm welcome to today's session on Unacademy, and very powerful topic, which is owning your body language to create an impact. It's all about body language. Now, how do you own your body language in order to create an image in an interview is what I would be talking about predominantly, because most of you would be getting ready for your CAT MBA entrance exams, your interviews, and thereby it's important for you to have the right body language. So that is what I'll be covering in today's session. So welcome all of you. So I'm going to give you in this session what are the do's, what are the don'ts, what is the right body posture that you need to have in an interview, what would you indicate if you have a particular body language to the interviewers, and with that, how does the interviewer perceive you is what I'll be covering in this session. All right. So with that, before I start, let me quickly give you an introduction about myself. My name is Nitin Prabhakar. Basically, I'm a certified trainer with regards to soft skills. What I do is provide behavioral skills, leadership skills, soft skills training in corporates, colleges, in institutions, and in government organizations. So that's what I predominantly do. I've been with Unacademy for the last few months, and I try and reach out to a lot of people and explain to them why soft skills is important. All right. Now, I have an assignment for you. Take your notebook and pen, and you see this here to the left. These are what forms a communication, which is your words, which is your tone, and your body language, right? I'm just giving you a rough example as to, a percentage. If I have to ensure that the summation of all these three comes to 100%, I would probably say 30% to tone, 30% to words, 40% to tone, and 30% to body language. If given an opportunity to you, what is the weightage that you would give to each one of it with regards to impact? What kind of an impact does word have, tone have, and body language have? Now your question could be, what is tone? Tone is the emotion in the voice. Hey, I'm so happy. Hey guys, I'm so sad. Right? That's the tone. You know what is body language? You know words. So you want to write it down in your notebook before I reveal as to what is the weightage that you would give for each one of it. Please go ahead, try. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to give it a shot. All right, so I guess you must have all got some numbers. Now, as per research, this Albert Mehrabian, he was a psychologist who did a research on this particular thing, and then he says the impact that it creates is here. The words create 7% of the weightage. All right, tone is 38% of the weightage, and body language is 55%. So the maximum weightage goes to body language. So it is also called as the first impression. The moment you walk into the interviewer's cabin, the interviewer is going to look at you, and within 7 seconds, the first impression is created. I like this individual. I'm going to hire her or him, or I'm going to reject that individual. That impression is created. Now, for somebody to wipe off that impression and create a new impression, it's going to take a little bit of effort. So why give it a chance? So within that 7 seconds, if you can create that good impression with the interviewer, why not? So how can you create that good impression? There are a few techniques. One, when you walk in with a smile. You know what is the most expensive gift that each one of us have? It is the smile. The smile that we have is the biggest gift. A lot of people come scared, frown on your face, not so confident. Walk with a smile. Smile in itself will say that you are confident as an individual. Now, if you just go in for the interview and then try to smile, it comes across as extremely fake. So you as an individual should have a smiling gesture all the time. So when you speak to individuals, when you're having a conversation, always wear a smile. Number two, when you walk into the interview, have a very broad shoulder, chest up, walk straight with your back upright. Some people walk like this. When you walk like this, the energy levels go down. You really can't bring in energy when you walk like this, right? So it's important for you to walk up straight and then confident. wish everyone, not mandatory for you to shake hands, and especially at this time where the coronavirus spread, people don't want to shake hands. And in case if you do, they might probably give you a namaste or say hi to you, and it might backfire. So right now, not the best time to shake hands. So let it be. Do not shake hands. All right. Now, these are a few things that happens, and then you come and stand here in front of the interviewer. Should you take the seat or not? Stand upright. Do not take your seat till such time you're offered a seat. So when they offer, then you will want to say thank you and then take your seat. Or in case if they don't offer the seat, you might want to ask, is it okay if I take my seat? Then they'll say yes, of course. Then that's when you sit down. So that's the basic etiquette. Now you have not even uttered a word. This is roughly around 7 seconds. By now, an impression is already created. An impression is already created about you. You like it or not, but that's the fact of the matter. In case if your body language is great, then it's good for you. If your body language isn't great, then it's something that you need to work on. All right. So how would you work on? Now, look at this. Each one of these individuals' body language is different. An army person's body language is completely different than a civilian's body language. Do you agree? A woman's body language to a man's, a child's body language to an adult, a rich man's body language to a poor man's body language, a strong and a weak person's body language, all of it is completely different, right? So, what is the ideal body language that you need to have is what we're going to talk about. Magnitude of the body language. Do you know that there are 7 lakh unique movements that human beings can create? 7 lakh. That's enormous. And the facial expressions, there's 250,000 facial expressions that we can create. Again, it's extremely surprising, right? 250,000. You want to sit down and try that? Anyway, we are all quarantined at home for the next 21 days. We don't know, we don't have much to do. So we are going to sit down and write down, oh, this expression, 1, 2, 3, 4. Write down 250,000 expressions. A good way to kill time, right? All right. Let's move on and see what this means. What does this posture mean? Would you want to take a guess? I'm going to give you 30 seconds break between every. I'm going to show you a picture and then you will need to take a guess as to what that means. I'm going to give you 30 seconds after I show you the picture so that you can guess what it means. If somebody is crossing their hands, I hope you will be able to see me. I'm just trying to get the If someone's sitting this way, any guesses what it means? I'm going to give you 30 seconds to give it a shot. All right, so I guess you must have had some image of this particular picture. This means what? But this actually means, you know what? It means defensive by nature. This person is not friendly. Look at the facial expression also. I am not here to make friends with you. I'm very hostile. Hostile means I'm to myself, just let me be. I'm not very friendly with you. I don't want to make friends with you. That's one meaning that one would portray. The other thing is I'm very defensive. I've come with an answer. I've come with a thought process. Whatever you say, I'm not willing to listen to you. I'm very defensive. I'm closed. And thereby I'm extremely defensive. Don't tell me anything. Don't try to, how much ever you try to tell me, I'm not going to get convinced. So this is body language that indicates that you're defensive. So in an interview, if you're sitting in this manner and the interviewer is asking you questions, you know what the interviewer is going to think about you, that you're defensive by nature. You're somebody who is not willing to listen. You're not somebody who's going to take feedback. You're not somebody who's going to be open. So is there, does that give a positive impact to the, to the interviewer? Not really. Hey Aditya, good evening. Hope you're doing good. And Aditya, have you attended my session on body language? On the Plus program or on the special classes? Have you seen the slide before? Not sure if I'm not getting the response, or you have not responded yet. All right. So Aditya, I actually covered this in my special class and in the Plus program. So this is just a glimpse, guys. This is going to be YouTube. It's going to be a 30 minutes session. So what I'm doing here is just giving you a prelude to some parts of this particular topic. In the Plus program, there's going to be an elaborate session on each one of it, so you'll be able to learn more on the Plus program. So I invite all of you to join the Plus program so that it's going to be beneficial to each one of you. All right, so that is what close hand gesture means. Now let's move on to understand what is the next one. So this is a no-no, right? You would not be sitting like this in an interview, because that interviewer is going to think that you are very defensive by nature and you are not somebody who's willing to listen. Now what does this mean? Take 30 seconds, take a wild guess. Aditya, are you there? Have you attended the session on body language in the past, in special class or in the Plus program? All right, viewers, I guess you have taken a guess as to what this is. Now let me explain to you what this means. This is basically a confidence posture. A posture which says that I'm absolutely confident, and basically these are the energy points at the tip of a finger. When you hold it this way, there's a lot of energy that flows into our body. So this is a good gesture. So when you're having a conversation with your interviewer, resting your elbows on the seat of the chair, on the handle of the chair, and holding this position is a good gesture to have, even while you're making a presentation. Okay, all right, Aditya. So you already attended the session in the special classes, so you might have answers to most of these, because in YouTube it's a smaller version of whatever that I've covered in the Plus program or the special classes. What I'm doing here, so you might already be aware of most of these. In case if you are not aware, then you can always sit through the session, Aditya. All right, let me continue. So I was saying that this is the confidence posture. So great if you can, converse in this manner. However, I would want to give you a caveat here. Don't sit like this and answer, because your interview is going to go on for 20 minutes. And for 20 minutes, if you sit and answer this way, it may not look appropriate. If you look at all the TED speakers, even they would hold it this way. However, use your hand for congruence. Use your hand for movement. It's called as congruence, because whatever words that you say to what you are going to do with regards to your hand has to match. I got the ninth position in my graduation. Yesterday, tomorrow, today, back, front. I did a lot of work. I want to really reduce in size. I ate a little. So what am I doing? Whenever I am using any word, I am using the same to express through words, because most of us are visual learners and we want to remember. So this is all the ways through which we remember. So when if too much of action is going to be too distracting, too much of steadiness is going to be too boring. So you got to have a mix and match. Karnesh, hi, welcome. Yesterday you yes, Karnesh, I did not schedule a session yesterday. I have one today. Tomorrow also I have one. So Karnesh, you were there, yes, in day before yesterday's session, right? And the special class. That's right. I remember, Karnesh. We are talking about body language, Karnesh. What is the body language that you can have during your interviews? I said this is the body language that you should avoid. This is a body language. This is a very positive body language, right? That's steeple. Now moving on, the third one is arms crossed with thumbs open, right? I just told you in my previous slide that when you hold it like this, it's defensive. This is being defensive with coolness. Say whatever you want to, I don't care. That's a little bit of attitude, coolness, and that's how you would be sitting if you hold like this, and your interviewer would not like it because it shows negative attitude. It's not a positive attitude, so your interviewer would not like it. So these are postures that is best avoided. Keep your arms open. Whenever it's closed, it means to say that you are not open to a conversation. You are somebody who is not so confident. So those are the indications that the interviewer is going to get. Right? Always keep your arms open. So where does your hand be? It's either on the handle of the chair, not on your lap, because when it's on your lap, it means that you are hiding your hand, which means to say you are not very confident. Keep it open on the arms of the chair, at the tip of the table. Confidence posture. Use it when you talk. These are few things that I would be recommending to all of you. Hand gripping hands. This is basically, you would all know, or you would have seen somebody or the other in your known circle who walks like this. And let me take a guess who do this. It could be your father typically, or it could be your principal or lecturers, right? So these are the people normally who walk like this, which indicates a superiority gesture. If somebody is superior to you, that's how they walk, and through this body language they'll be showing the superiority. Now when you're sitting in an interview, normally you don't have an option to hold your hand like this, but when you walk into the cabin and walk out of the interviewer's cabin, avoid this posture. In case if there's a presentation that you're making to your faculty members, somebody who is higher up, or even your peers, please avoid this posture, because it shows that you are showing superiority to the people who are listening. And if your lecturer, faculty members, HODs are looking at you and you're doing that, may not really show well. So avoid this gesture too. Hands gripping under arm. This basically is a frustration gesture. If somebody is angry at you, they might hold onto their hands this way, basically to avoid from striking. This is a very, very frustrated individual holding their hands like this. Rubbing palms. Any guesses what this means? Look at the facial expression, and then any guesses? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Take a wild guess. This one, Aditya, basically it means that it's a frustration gesture. Somebody is so angry, disappointed, and frustrated. So it's basically holding off frustration. I want to strike, which I might want to get physical, but I'm just holding on to myself. So the more the hand goes up, the more frustrated one is. Right? I'm angry, so I'm holding on to myself, and this is how one would stand when they are holding. Again, it is a close gesture, not a very nice gesture to have. Right? Especially if you're wearing a blazer and if you have to hold it like this, it's also very uncomfortable because your blazer gets crumpled. You're wearing formals, your formals get crumpled. It does not look good also. Secondly, you're showing that you're frustrated. So I hope Aditya, you understood what it meant. Robbing, you think it's tremble on front of an interviewer? Yeah, we would not do it in front of an interviewer. Basically, this means positive anticipation. Will I get my offer? How much is my salary? Oh, I'm going to get lucky today. I put my lottery. I hope I'm going to win today. Right? This is basically an anticipation. I'm going to get something new. That's the anticipation. Tremble, look at the facial expression. So when you make a judgment about a body language, you got to look at the whole overall body language. She seems very happy, so she's not trembling. So she's more happy with a smile, and then she's rubbing her figure, which is called as cluster. I'm going to talk about it at the end of this particular PPT, which means to say when you look at somebody's body language, just don't look at one particular moment. It's a cluster of cluster that you need to look at. So I'm going to explain that in a bit. Karunation, Aditya. Hands clenched. Any guesses what this means? It is not praying, it is something else. Again, you can look at the facial expressions. It is not thinking, it is something apart from thinking. Right, last 15 seconds. All right, I'll give you what this means. This is basically hands clenched. Hands clenched is again a frustration gesture. You are irritated, annoyed, frustrated, and that's why you hold your hands like this. A lot of time when people make presentation, they hold it this way. John's right hand clenched into a fist. Who is John here? John's right hand clenched into a fist. So, from what I understand, Aditya, you're saying it's clenched into a fist. This is a fist, which is again an angry posture, right? It's frustration, angry posture. This is clenched. When you clench it, it's this way. Basically saying that I am frustrated and then I'm holding on to something. When you hold on to something, basically it says that I am taking support just so that I'm controlling my anger. Right? So this is a frustration gesture. The lower it is, the less frustrated. The higher it is, the more frustration it is. So in an interview, if you're sitting like this, not a good gesture. When you're making a presentation, you're sitting like this, not a good gesture. When you're making in an interview, you're sitting this way, not a good gesture. All right. So avoid some of these gestures. If you're sitting with in mouth touch, beard touch, eyes touch, ear if you're rubbing, neck if you're scratching in an interview, it firstly doesn't look nice. Any guesses what this means? All right. I guess there are no guesses. Confused. Okay. Karunesh, you are almost right. Yeah, you're right actually. It is basically a gesture when you're not confident. If I am saying something and if I'm scratching myself, if I'm doing this, that means to say I'm not really sure of what I'm saying. I could be lying or I'm making it up or I'm not sure and then I'm telling it to you. When I am telling it to you and if you are doing one of these, that means to say you don't believe in what I'm saying. So that is what this gesture means. Right? So basically confusion or unsure or untrue, that is what this particular gesture means. So with this is called as the guarded posture. With this, I think I hope you're understanding that some of the postures is something that you should best avoid. Now look at this. The first one and the second one that you're looking at is closed hand on the cheeks with index finger pointing upward shows interest. This is basically, if your interviewer is sitting this way, it means to say that he or she is interested in what you're saying. As the hand goes down, it means to say that it's boredom. If your interviewer is sitting this way, it means that person is bored with what you're saying. So it means to say you got to spike up your energy. You got to make the interview more interesting. You got to give out more stories to make the interviewer a little more awake. The lady who's sitting there, which is thumb supporting the chin with fingers pointing upward, shows negative thoughts. Negative thoughts often accompanied by eye rub. So when the person sits like this, there's a possibility of rubbing the eyes and this here, negative thoughts. The last one with the guy with the beard is a chin stroke. When chin is stroking, it's a person is trying to make a decision. Is thinking and trying to make a decision. So if you're interviewer, normally in an interview they would do all of these, so you know what exactly that they are thinking right now. If they are doing this, that means to say they may trying to make a decision whether to select you or not. When they are doing that, that's the time. Hit the iron when it's hot. That person is trying to make a decision. Give talk about something which is your biggest achievement, your biggest strength. that is when the person is trying to make a decision. You are talking something which is which that person would like to listen to, and the decision becomes a lot more easier. Now, it's just so simple. It's at a subconscious level, guys, because like I said, body language has 55% impact on the overall communication. So if you are able to use it, you understand this body language, and if you are able to communicate it accordingly, it makes wonders. It makes a whole lot of difference. All right, that's evaluation. Now, I was talking to you about Karunesh and Aditya. I was telling you there are a few things that you need to look at when you're looking at somebody's body language. Just don't go by what I told you. You need to look at few other things. I said sitting like this is a defensive posture, which is meaning to say that I'm unwilling to listen to you. I have my own decision and don't even try to tell anything to me. That's what this means. However, look at the context. If you are sitting in an AC room which is very, very cold, you might also sit this way. All right. So if I keep scratching my head, that means I told you that I'm unsure of what I'm saying, right? It could also mean that I'm unhygienic. I could also have dandruff. If I'm yawning, it could mean, normally from body language, it could mean that I'm extremely boring, the presentation is boring and that's why yawning. It could also contextually mean that I have not slept at all and that's why I'm yawning. So all of these are context. So also think of contextual. If the room is cold, a lot of people sitting like this, it could also mean that it is a cold environment. Second one is cluster. Don't just go by one body language. In India, if you're talking to somebody who's senior up, Aditya, you're laughing about my dandruff, is it? Yeah, I know. Luckily, I don't have one. I'm glad. So, Aditya Karunesh, I'm just telling you that this is a close gesture. But in India, if you look at it, when you speak to superiors, elders, you hold your hand like this, and then this is a mark of respect. We hold our hands like this to show respect towards individuals. Culturally, it's absolutely okay. So don't just look at one gesture, look at the overall gesture. Look at, when you're saying something, and if I'm completely listening to you, I get up, stand up, if my principal is talking to me, I'm doing this, right? So basically I'm nodding, I'm responding, I'm all active, my shoulders are up, right? But this is a close gesture. Can be ignored because the other gestures are saying that it's more respectful, I'm listening. Right. Similarly, hands at the back is superiority gesture. But in India, when you speak to superiors, sometimes you hold your hands and then you nod your head, which is again a respectful gesture. Right. So don't look at just one thing that we spoke about and then come to a conclusion. Look at a cluster of different body language and then come to a conclusion. All right. The last but not the least is congruence. Congruence is what you say to what you do. It should always match. Say, for example, I say I got first rank. You will always believe this and not the words that I say, because when a person's body language shows something, that has more weightage, because visual, what you see is what's more believable than what you hear. So ensure that your body language and the words that you say matches. If somebody's words and body language doesn't match, always go by the body language. I keep saying this, when you go and meet an auto rickshaw driver, if the person says go straight and take a left, this is to my right. If that auto rickshaw person says left, go by the body language. It's always whatever the person is showing the hand is right. It's because visually they are absolutely right. So body language and the hand gesture should go right. If somebody is not having a congruence, always believe the body language than the words that individual is speaking. So these are few things that you need to consider while coming into a decision whether this person's body language should be understood in this particular manner or not. All right. In the Plus program, I have also widely covered on the different non-verbal communication. How can you enhance your non-verbal communication? How can you enhance your body language in the Plus program? So please be a part of the Plus program in order to avail access to all the courses in the Plus program, and you will also have the top educators educating you. And there is my referral code, which is NITN PKR-4915. Please use that to avail a 10% discount. If you've learned something new today, if you like what I've said, anything that's going to help you in your future life, like this video, share this video, follow me on Unacademy. And before I wind up, I want to check if there are any questions. Aditya, Karunesh, any questions? Oh, I have a couple of questions. Aditya says, your mind is very, very sharp. You are truly a great person. You're an idol for me. Oh, Aditya, very sweet of you to say that, Aditya. In HR, then you have to read more than 100 subjects. It is true. More than 100 subjects. Aditya, firstly, thank you for that note. It's very, very sweet of you. More than 100 subjects if you are in HR, not at all. Not even more than 100. There are not even 100 topics. Like I said day before yesterday, in HR, predominantly there are 5 to 6 functions. There's the recruitment, there is talent management, talent engagement, there is payrolling and statutory, there is organization development. These are the 5 main functions in HR. There are other sub functions, but predominantly these are the 5 ones. So don't really have to just ask your friend which are those 100 subjects. So it's absolutely not right, right? Don't have to get scared. And Aditya, HR is a beautiful field to be in. Firstly, identify whether your strengths are all those things which make you a good HR. If yes, then get into HR. HR is something which is very powerful also, because when HR is there, people are saying, oh, firstly you are somebody who can hire people. So there's a lot of respect because you have given job to a lot of people. Number 2, you are somebody who can also terminate people if somebody is misbehaving, disciplinary issues, performance issues. You are somebody who can give feedback, you can make somebody work well, you can motivate people, and if somebody is unrepairable, you can also terminate them. So you have a lot of power. So people really look up to you. So don't, I loved my 15 years of stint in human resources. No complaints whatsoever. So that's the department to be in if you are good at it, right? Yes, yes, Aditya. What you could do is just Google and see what are the current subjects in human resources. That's, during my MBA days, which was in 2001, 2003, I had not more than 4 to 5 subjects in human resources. I am sure it wouldn't have increased to 100 all of a sudden. I'm quite sure you might want to Google it, right? Karunesh, tomorrow when will you come? I'm going to be there tomorrow at 6:30, Karunesh, and tomorrow's topic is I just can tell you in a moment. Give me a moment. All right, tomorrow's topic is more of, you must have heard of work-life balance. So similarly, I would be talking about study-life balance. How can you ensure that you manage your time effectively in order to manage your study time and your other parts of life. So which is basically managing the your work-life balance or the study-life balance. It's called as the wheel of life. That's what I'm going to cover tomorrow. All right. So, Karunesh, Aditya, anything else that you have? I'm just checking if there's any message. Sometimes I get the messages late. Okay, many people demotivate me. My relatives also say that you have not sharp mind, you can't do anything. Aditya, my whole point is this. People are there to comment, Aditya. I just saw a beautiful forward today that the strength is always from not from the outside. What people think of you does not make you. What you think of you makes you. It's an egg, right? When it's broken from outside, it's the end of life, right? An egg when broken from outside is the end of life. But the same egg when broken from within, it's the start of life. So do not really allow somebody to break you from outside. It's important for you to break the shell and then start your own life. So I'm very disappointed that somebody has to comment about you like this. But please don't listen to people who put you down. It's okay if you listen from one ear, leave it from the other ear, because each one of us are gifted very, very beautifully. Each one of us are made on this earth. I believe that because each one of us are potential. We are all born from the God, and that's why we are all gifted. There is nobody who God puts down onto the earth without any gift. It is for you to identify what your strengths are and make a life out of it, Aditya. So don't consider yourself as somebody who's lesser than anyone, okay? Hey Karunesh, thank you so much. You guys are very, very sweet. Yeah, you guys make my day. It's so touchy. Thank you guys. Very sweet of you to say what you have said. Do stay in touch. Well, I'm going to leave my number here. I'm planning to form a WhatsApp group. Let's stay in continuous touch. Alright, if there's any questions, any point of time, you can always reach out to me. I'm a little slow on WhatsApp, though I'm not very active on WhatsApp. But whenever I see your message, I'm always going to reach out to you. Alright, guys, thank you so much for being there, asking me questions, and thank you once again for the lovely note of yours. See you guys. Have a lovely evening. Good night. No good night yet. I have a session on Plus program which is going to start in a while. So I'm going to log in there. Aditya, I've already given my number there, 9036151410. I'm going to repeat that, 9036151410. Leave your number there. I'm going to create a WhatsApp group. Right now I don't have a group. I'm just going to start creating it now. Alright, see you Aditya, see you Karnesh. Have a lovely evening. Have a phenomenal rest of the day. Bye guys.